UCLA women's basketball keeps on rolling, 23-1, heading into a game tomorrow at Michigan State. Beat Michigan by 3 over the weekend. Kiki Rice, 16 of her 20 points in this second half as UCLA took a 2-game lead in the Big Ten race over the Wolverines. It was the Bruins' 17th straight win, dating back to November when they suffered their lone loss at the hands of Texas. Rice also had 17 earlier in the week against Rutgers, and for those efforts, the senior guard named Big Ten Co-Player of the Week yesterday. First time she's ever received that honor. Also named this past week to the mid-season watch list for the Nancy Lieberman Award, which honors the nation's top point guard. You do all that, and you better believe you're going to be the big interview. Kiki Rice joining us now.
And now, let's welcome
Kiki,
our UCLA women's basketball player, Kiki Rice.
That Michigan game
She's the guard of the women's
time
basketball for
year
UCLA. And when she
really
was on a
been
big
pushed. It was
today
the first
yesterday,
game
and
to
about
set
her
out a
team winning
single-figure
streaks and many
margin
more,
since January
of
1st
course, the
for you
March
guys.
Madness
What
too.
did you
So,
learn
let's
about
listen into what she had to say
playing in
about
those
all of that.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, that was, our first really close game of the season and in a while. And I think, we do those moments. We need those, tight games just to learn how to play in those in March, April, because, we're going to need that experience. And I think, it shows our resiliency and our ability to just fight through tough games, figure things out. But definitely a really good learning moment.
Well, your team accomplished so much last year, and we had Corey Close on last week, and we were talking a little bit about this with her. I mean, on one hand, you end up in the Final Four. It was the first ever NCAA Final Four for the UCLA women's program. And on the other hand, you obviously were disappointed by the way things ended against UConn. So what was the mentality coming into this year with this program?
The mentality has really been just staying present, staying focused, and using each day as an opportunity to get better. We're trying not to look too far ahead, look at last year too much, because this is a new team, group, and we have different goals. And I think just staying really present and getting better each day and not looking forward are going to be things that kind of anchor us in our process. And we're going to need that that solid mindset in order to win in March. And I think that's something we learned last year.
Coach Close is so complimentary of you. She says that you have set a new standard for the UCLA women's program. In what way do you think you've done that? What is she referring to?
I just, do my best to work incredibly hard, show up every single day, be a really good example and leader for my teammates. And I think that's just about, building up a group around me. And we have such a fantastic, staff, support staff, players on the team. I think we all come together, we work really hard, and just kind of instilling that culture of work. That's something that I pride myself in. And I think that's something that over these last few years, you can really see a big difference. We've worked incredibly hard. Everyone's in the gym before and after practice. We're getting better. We're honing in on our craft. So we're just really excited about that. And I think I've loved to see how everyone's really stepped up to up and into that culture of work.
You talk about work ethic, and all of your teammates, when asked about you, the first thing they seem to talk about is work ethic. She just works so hard. Where does that work ethic come from?
I honestly think it's just something I've always done. I mean, I grew up playing sports, going from soccer to basketball practice to, doing a lot of different things. So I think that's just kind of what I'm used to, and I want to be the best at what I do. So I never want to feel like I'm leaving a gym or leaving an environment and able to say that someone else outworked me. And regardless of the outcome, I want to know that, I put in the work. I put in the work to be here and to, just be satisfied with the outcome. So just take pride in, taking care of all my individual business and really just setting the tone from a work standpoint.
Your family's pretty incredible. Both your parents were student athletes at Yale. I know Allen Houston, great NBA player, is your cousin. Susan Rice, the former national security advisor, is your aunt. So how much pressure did you feel? Like, is that work ethic maybe born somewhat out of all these amazing people that are around you?
I would say for sure. I mean, both my mom, dad, cousins, all my family members, they work really hard, and it's not all in basketball and whatever they do, but I just think being around so many really incredible, hardworking people that, didn't just rely on talent or, they're smarts and, they work really hard. So I think kind of me picking up on that as a little girl and just being around and in that environment definitely helped me and kind of instilled that in me.
Is there a moment where you can remember where maybe you didn't work as hard as you felt like you should have? Like, was there a moment where you said, hey, if I don't do what I'm supposed to do, the results won't be what I want them to be?
Honestly, I can't really think of a moment where I felt like I've gone in unprepared and haven't, worked to the best of my ability. Not in sports, maybe on a test or in school sometimes. I haven't had time to study, but definitely not in sports.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the sports part of it. Not only were you a great basketball player, you kind of mentioned it a little bit earlier, a great soccer player as well. You were the DC Player of the Year in both sports, basketball and soccer, growing up in the nation's capital. So how does soccer help you in basketball?
I would say soccer really helps with conditioning. I always felt like I was in really good shape just because in soccer you're running the entire game, running up and down, so that definitely helps. And also with spacing, I think soccer, like a lot of just reading lanes and when to make a run, keeping spacing. Obviously, you have a lot of people on the field in soccer, so I definitely think that those two things translated over and kind of helped me when I switched full time to basketball. But for sure, I love soccer. I wish I was still able to play, but I'm grateful for my time and being able to play in high school.
You were the #2 player in the nation in terms of the recruiting services. As I mentioned, you grew up in Washington, D.C. There are a lot of great programs in that part of the country as well. What was it about UCLA that made you say, I want to pick up and want to go all the way across the country to play for the Bruins?
It was really the culture that Corey and the rest of our staff had created here and then the vision that they all had. I mean, UCLA on so many fronts is such an appealing and incredible school, obviously academically as well. School has so much to offer and being in LA, but really just the culture of tightness, of a family, and of course they could score great. And then the vision to go somewhere and help a program win their first Final Four. I mean, I think it's something that I take a lot of pride in, and I want to be part of the first group that's going to help this team get to Final Four last year and then win a national championship. So I think we have obviously a ton of goals, and I really take pride in helping a program get to kind of the next level.
You mentioned the academic part of it. You're an excellent student. You've gotten all kinds of commendations throughout the years for your academics. Tell us what you're studying and what you hope to do once the ball stops bouncing.
Yeah, so in college right now, I'm a communications major and education minor, and then after I finish playing, I hope to work in sports and that front office position. And I think right now I'd like to be a GM, and we'll see. I'm trying to kind of get a little bit of experience in front office and kind of management side of sports organizations while I'm still in college. So that's been really cool, and just seeing where the world after basketball takes me. But I definitely want to stay in sports and stay in kind of the management side.
Well, some great long-term goals there. In the immediate term, I know the goal is to beat Michigan State. Give us the scouting report on what is an excellent Spartan team. Yeah,
Michigan State is a great team. They work really hard. They play hard. They have a lot of kind of versatile players. So I think just, again, focusing in on, rebounding really well, hustling, not letting them outwork us. And we'll be fine. We'll find a way to go into a really tough environment and win, but a lot of credit to their coach and their team because they have a really good group.
Well, if history's to be any indication here, you won't be outworked. So congratulations on all you've done, Kiki Rice. I look forward to seeing this game coming up here tomorrow and seeing where the rest of the season takes the Bruins. Congratulations on everything, and best of luck going forward.
Thanks so much for having me.
And that's my favorite player, Kiki Rice for UCLA.